The Canyon Secret. Chapter 1: A Fading Horizon. The wind, a relentless whisper, carried the scent of sage and dust across the Navajo mesa. Clara, a young woman with eyes as deep and mysterious as the canyons, stood on the precipice of the world she knew, her gaze fixed on the horizon. It was a canvas painted in hues of orange, pink, and purple, a stark reminder of the beauty of her ancestral lands. Yet, the encroaching shadow of the settlers cast a long, ominous figure over her people's future. Clara's heartbeat thrummed in her chest as her fingertips brushed the turquoise pendant around her neck, a gift from her grandmother and a symbol of her people's enduring spirit. The stories of the ancient ones echoed in her mind, tales of a hidden power deep within the canyons. A power meant to heal, to protect. But power, she knew, could also destroy if wielded in greed or anger. A distant rumble shattered the tranquility of the evening. Clara's breath caught as she turned toward the sound. The wagons were coming, their wheels groaning under the weight of supplies and ambitions. She could see them now, a line of shadows creeping across the open plains like an invading storm. The settlers were here. They brought change, and with it, the threat of erasure, not just of the land, but of her people's way of life. From behind, a familiar voice pulled her from her thoughts. Clara, her younger brother Neil called, his voice edged with worry. "The council is meeting. They're waiting for you." She nodded, her face set with determination. "I'll be there." As they walked back to the village, Clara's thoughts remained heavy. The settlers brought more than wagons and cattle, they brought greed, hunger for land, and disregard for the fragile balance that her people had nurtured for generations. The secret of the canyon stirred within her like a whisper. It was said to be the key to their survival, yet she knew little of its true nature. It would reveal itself when the time was right, her grandmother had told her. That night, the council gathered around a fire that crackled and sent sparks into the starlit sky. Elders spoke in hushed tones of the settlers' intentions, their fear mingling with anger. "They will strip the land bare," said Grey Eagle, an elder whose voice carried the weight of years. "They have no respect for the spirits of this land." Clara listened, her eyes scanning the faces of her people. They were strong, resilient, but she could see the shadow of uncertainty in their expressions. When her turn came to speak, she rose to her feet, her voice steady despite the turmoil within her. "The canyon holds the answer," she said. "Our ancestors entrusted us with its secret. We must protect it, no matter the cost." The council murmured, some in agreement, others in doubt. But Clara's resolve was unshakable. She knew she had to uncover the truth of the canyon's secret before it was too late. As the meeting concluded, Clara lingered by the fire. She looked up at the stars, seeking guidance. A rustling in the shadows caught her attention. She turned to see a figure emerging from the darkness. He was a man of contradictions, a cowboy with a weathered face and kind eyes, his leather boots dusty from the trail. "Name's Jack," he said, tipping his hat. "I'm not here to cause trouble. Just passing through." Clara regarded him warily, her instincts on edge. "What do you want?" Jack hesitated, then said, "To understand. I've seen what the settlers are doing. It doesn't sit right with me. Thought maybe I could help." His sincerity surprised her, but trust didn't come easily. Still, something in his eyes told her he might be more than just another drifter. "If you want to help," she said cautiously, "you'll have to prove it." Jack nodded. "Fair enough." The first thread of an unlikely alliance was formed that night, though neither of them could foresee the trials ahead. Chapter 2: The Ancient Secret. The sun rose over the mesa, bathing the world in golden light. Clara stood at the edge of the canyon, its labyrinthine depths stretching out before her. Jack lingered a few paces behind, his curiosity evident as he took in the grandeur of the landscape. "This place," he said, his voice low, "it's got a feeling to it. Like it's alive." Clara glanced over her shoulder, her expression unreadable. "It is alive. The canyon holds the spirit of our ancestors. Their wisdom. Their power." She turned back to the canyon and began the descent, her steps sure and steady. Jack followed, his boots crunching on the rocky path. The deeper they went, the cooler the air became, the walls of the canyon towering above them like ancient sentinels. They reached a hidden alcove where the sunlight filtered through cracks in the rock, illuminating an intricate spiral etched into the stone wall. Clara's heart quickened as she approached it, her fingers tracing the lines of the symbol. "This is it," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The gateway." Jack frowned, his hand resting on the hilt of his revolver. "Gateway to what?" "A power beyond imagination," Clara replied. "It can heal the land and protect our people. But it can also destroy if used with greed or malice." As she spoke, the symbol began to glow faintly, a soft light that seemed to pulse in rhythm with her heartbeat. Jack took a step back, his unease evident. "I've seen a lot of things in my time," he said, "but nothing like this." Clara turned to him, her eyes fierce. "This is why we fight. To protect this. If the settlers find it, they'll use it to destroy everything." Jack nodded, his resolve hardening. "Then we'll make sure they don't." Chapter 3: The Gathering Storm. Back in the village, tension was mounting. The settlers, led by Colonel Dalton, had begun encroaching on Navajo territory, cutting down sacred trees and diverting water from vital streams. The village elders worked tirelessly to rally their people, but fear and uncertainty weighed heavily on everyone. Clara and Jack worked side by side, preparing for the inevitable confrontation. Jack's knowledge of settler tactics proved invaluable, and Clara found herself grudgingly admiring his resourcefulness. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Jack shared a piece of his past. "I wasn't always the man you see now," he said, staring into the flames. "Made my share of mistakes. Hurt people I didn't mean to. But this feels like a chance to make things right." Clara studied him, her expression softening. "Maybe that's why the spirits brought you here. To help." Their quiet moment was interrupted by the arrival of a young settler woman. Sarah, the daughter of one of Dalton's lieutenants, had been secretly observing Clara and Jack for days. Torn between loyalty to her family and her growing conscience, she had finally decided to act. "I want to help," she said, her voice trembling. "What my people are doing, it's not right." Clara and Jack exchanged a wary glance, but they could see the sincerity in Sarah's eyes. Against their better judgment, they decided to trust her. Together, the three of them began to formulate a plan to protect the canyon and its secret. Chapter 4: A Dangerous Alliance. The days that followed were filled with danger and uncertainty. Clara, Jack, and Sarah worked tirelessly, gathering supplies and forging alliances with neighboring tribes. They knew that time was running out. Sarah proved to be an invaluable ally, using her position within the settlers' camp to gather information and sabotage their efforts. But her actions did not go unnoticed. Dalton's men grew suspicious, and it was only a matter of time before her betrayal was discovered. One fateful night, Sarah returned to the village with urgent news. "They're planning to attack the canyon," she said, her voice shaking. "At dawn." Clara's heart sank. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they had no choice. They had to stand their ground. Chapter 5: The Final Stand. The battle for the canyon was fierce and unrelenting. The settlers, armed with rifles and driven by greed, clashed with the Navajo warriors, who fought with bows, spears, and an unyielding determination. Clara and Jack fought side by side, their bond forged in the heat of battle. Sarah, too, proved her courage, risking her life to protect the canyon's secret. In the end, it was Clara who made the ultimate sacrifice. Standing before the glowing symbol, she called upon the power of the canyon, unleashing a force that drove the settlers away but claimed her life in the process. As the sun rose over the canyon, the land began to heal. The settlers, humbled and defeated, retreated, and a fragile peace was established. Clara's people mourned her loss but honored her sacrifice, vowing to protect the canyon and its secret for generations to come. Epilogue: A New Dawn. Years later, Jack stood at the edge of the canyon, now a place of peace and reverence. He placed a hand on the turquoise pendant he wore, a reminder of the woman who had changed his life. Beside him, Sarah, now a leader in her own right, spoke softly. "She'd be proud of what we've built here." Jack nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "She'd be proud of all of us." As the sun set over the mesa, the canyon stood as a testament to courage, sacrifice, and the enduring spirit of the Navajo people. The secret of the canyon remained, a beacon of hope for the generations yet to come. Join the adventure with the Western Echoes, Cowboy Tales Unleashed. If you're loving our cowboy stories and captivating tales, don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all our future posts. Saddle up and ride along with us.